I see early on, right, that that's looking at your father and what what went on in your household helps you to see that, hey, I want to be on the side of writing checks, right? I don't just want to simply be on the side of receiving, but I want to be able to be writing some of these checks too as well. But what was it, or when was it that you saw that you had this gifting, specifically, right, for music, right? When was it that you started to see and understand that, there's not, I'm not just, I just can't, it's not that I can just sing, I can sing, right? You know what I mean? When was it that this started to, pique your attention?
I was 3.
Mm,
So my parents, especially my dad, he noticed that whenever I would watch Sesame Street, I was homeschooled for a portion of my life.
okay.
And my parents noticed that whenever I would watch Sesame Street, whenever the count would come on, I would stop talking. Like just everything would stop. And so my mom assumed, oh, she must like math. But when all of the other Muppets were doing math, I couldn't care less. So my dad
Mm,
went, I don't think it's math. I think it's something else. So he actually
mm,
watched me. I was blessed to have parents that would
mm,
watch their children, right? My mom was a
right.
homemaker, so she was watching me. So
Mm,
my dad noticed that when the count would come on, I would stop, and it wasn't because of math. To date, the count is the only Muppet that sings in a key that's recognized on the piano in a chord that makes sense. So I
mm,
was responding to the music.
mm,
So he said, you know what? Maybe we should put her in piano lessons. So at
mm.
5, they put me in piano lessons.
Wow.
When I turned 10, I went to a different junior high school, and my dad said, so what music program them have there? So you need to find some music sitting for do. Said, well, they have a band. Go join the band and find an instrument that makes sense. Don't come in with no fluxy instrument. Go find one instrument that makes sense. So fluxy is something weak.
Right.
No instrument that just spin up like receipt paper, right? Okay. So my
Oh, that's
I walked
hilarious.
into band and I saw the horned instruments. So your tubas, your trombones,
Okay.
your trumpets. And those instruments, the trombone is the one that slides. You have 5 notes. It
Okay.
slides in 5 positions. Your tuba and your trumpet have 3 vowels. There are
Okay.
7 notes in a scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then you have your
Okay.
sharps and your flats. You still have to figure out how you're going to get all those notes with 3 vowels, which means that you're
Mm,
manipulating your mouth when you're buzzing into the mouthpiece. I'm not doing that.
okay.
So I left all the horned instruments there. The reeded instruments, you have to take your cardboard reed,
Okay.
moisten it, stick it in the mouthpiece, and you have to put your bottom lip over your bottom teeth like this. Then you
Hmm.
have to press the reeded instrument down, which causes here
Mm-hmm.
to get bruised. I am too cute and I'm not bruising my lips for no instrument. So the oboes, the clarinets, and the saxophone stayed right there.
Okay.
I looked at the drums looked at me and said, don't even bother coming over here. So the only instrument that was left was the fluxy flute. I remember coming home going, I have playing the flute. And he goes, you couldn't find a violin or a
Right.
viola
Right.
or
Right.
none of the stringed instruments. I said, no, this isn't Psalms. There are no stringed instruments in this band. So he goes, fine, I guess you can play the flute. So for 3 years, I played the flute. I get to high school. You're joining the band? I said, no, I think I want to join the choir. So I said, there's 2 choirs. There's the gospel choir and then
Hmm.
there's the classical choir. He said, if you come home with anything Jesus, me and you're gonna have problem. I said, why can't I why can't I go in the gospel choir? He said, because that doesn't challenge you. Go to the
mm,
classical choir. In the classical choir, you're singing 4 and 5 part harmony, and all of the songs are in Latin. So I learned
mm,
how to stand like this. I learned
mm.
how to breathe with my stomach and not breathe with my shoulders. So that's where I got my first formal training. Even though I had been singing since I was 3, my first solo was I am a promise, I am a possibility, I am a promise with a capital P. I am a great big bundle of potentiality. 3 in the middle of the church choir. My parents were just like, oh God. I think we made a mistake. We put her in the front. We should have sat her down. But from singing in the choir at 3 to playing the piano at 5, playing the flute at 10, being in a
Mm.
classically trained choir at 13. And then when I went to college, he was like, now you can join the gospel choir. And it made sense because I was at a heathen school. He said, you need all the Jesus you can get. So you are going to the gospel choir. That is not an option. You will not be in the classical choir in college because you will
That
lose
is
all of your Jesus.
hilarious.
So he was very strategic in making sure that
Right.
I was always in some music program.
Mm.
Um, Left college, came home, and then I joined the praise and worship team. And that's when I realized, ooh, this is the fun part of worship. But by then, I could read sheet music.
Mm.
By then, I could say, put me in the key of. By
Mm.
then, I could say, you're flat. This is actually your correct note. By then,
Right.
I could teach voices and teach the vocals and say, hold on,
Mm.
if we're going to sing that chord, then the keyboard needs to sing a different note, or the keys needs to play a different chord. And
Mm.
if that's the chord that you're going to play, well, then the bass needs to do this. And if that's what you're going to do, then the guitar. So now I'm reconstructing music for praise and worship because I
Mm.
didn't like what the artist did.
Wow.
So we're going to redesign this whole thing so that it actually makes musical sense, to the point
Mm.
where now when I walk into that particular church, the band sits up like this. I'm 5'1", the whole band. Y'all know we're going to be in here for 45 minutes because Hannah doesn't play, right? So when it comes to music, I've been doing this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've been doing this for many, many years.
Wow.
I dream music.
Mm.
Like I have dreamt. I never get words. I'm jealous of the people that get words. So you songwriters out there, I'm so jealous of you. What I
Yeah.
get is the actual arrangement.
Mm.
So I will dream the composition of the song and I
Mm.
can never remember it. On the rare
Wow.
occasion that I do, I incorporate it in praise and worship. So that's actually how I got my start, and I will never turn back.
Thanks for watching the Lion and Lambo podcast. We hope this clip has been a huge blessing to you. And we want to remind you that we drop new videos, new podcast episodes every Sunday at 9 o'clock. You can find the full episode by clicking the card up at the top right of this video. If you prefer an audio only experience, then we want to let you know that we're streaming through every major podcast streaming platform. For the full list, you can go to www.lionandthelambo.com. Until next time, go impact the world.